Have you ever felt that when you started your job search, you were super excited in the beginning, and then as the weeks or possibly the months progressed, you started to lose momentum and you started to wonder, what is the point of all of this? Is what I'm doing even turning into any result at the end of the day? If yes, then stay tuned because not only am I going to share with you my top 3 tips on how to keep the momentum in your job search, I'm also going to share with you how you can download my top 10 favorite job search mantras so that you can make sure you stay committed and get excited about your job search ahead. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so tip number 1 I want to share with you is to ensure that you are celebrating all of the small wins and milestones along your job search journey. So a lot of job seekers come to me and they feel really disappointed when they get to the final round interview and they're told that they decided to go with another candidate. And that's understandable because I know the ultimate milestone we want to achieve is right here, right? It's the offer letter. It's setting up that start date. It's negotiating that package. But in order to get here, we have to start here, right? And from here to here, there's like all of these amazing little successions that allow us to get that offer letter. And if we're only fixated on that offer letter, but we're not celebrating the small successions and the small wins, it's going to be really hard to stay motivated because there's so much outside of our control. But what we can control is the way that we've showed up every single step of the way and really acknowledge ourselves for that, right? I always tell all of my job seekers that your job search is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in order to get to where you want to be and keep up that momentum, you must be able to acknowledge the amazing way that you showed up for yourself. And the more you can step into that appreciation and express that gratitude, you're going to have much more fuel and energy to continue going, right? And I want to share and emphasize this because, again, so many job seekers come to me and they're like, well, I made it to the final round stage, but I didn't get the offer. So there must be something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not as marketable or as great as another candidate. Somebody just had more to offer. But I want to just help you realize that in order to get to the final round offer, think about all the things that you had to do, right? You had to create an amazing resume, an amazing LinkedIn profile. A lot of you may have had to step out of your comfort zone and network your way in or have a conversation, right? You had to show up for the phone interview, and by the way, I guarantee you at least 300 other people wanted that one phone interview, and you got it. So that's something huge to celebrate. I really want to make sure that you are keeping a tracker of all of the things that you're doing, all of the things that allow you to step out of your comfort zone and just grow as a person, as a job seeker, as an employee. Because the more you can, again, recite these back to yourself or acknowledge and recognize these for yourself, you're gonna have a lot more momentum and fuel on this journey. All right, let's talk about tip number 2, which is to create consistent daily or weekly habits. I see a lot of job seekers who start off really excited up front, right? I'm gonna get a new job, I'm so excited. And they start to pour all of their energy into one thing, whether it's they're putting out 20 applications a week or they are starting off and talking to everybody that they know and sharing all the great news. And what happens after a month? Generally they teeter off, right? They started off really strong and then they kind of declined as the silence or the rejection started to pour in. So my goal for you is to come up with your own KPIs, right? Like we all know key performance indicators inside of our workplace. We know in our role, in our scope, this is what we're measured on. I highly recommend you create your own as well, but for your job search. And the caveat to this is to make sure that you're starting off slow and steady versus, again, getting really excited up front and then realizing, you know what, I haven't met any of my targets. And the more you create high targets and you miss them is when you start to feel like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this, right? And then that's when we start to lose momentum and eventually hit a wall. So my goal for you is to kind of use the mantra slow and steady wins the race, right? But create some habits, create some structure, create some goals that you feel are challenging yet attainable for you. And just start off small and reach those goals. And you know what? If you do more that day, great, count it as a bonus, but continue moving forward, because the more steady you can be in your job search, the easier your job search will be, and the more quickly you will find your new job, right? It's when we kind of give everything we got, like in the first month, and then we plateau that, 3 months might go by and we're like, what the heck is going on? So I highly recommend that to any of you. And, it's hard to give like any type of quantifiable, measurable goal. I always tell my clients, your background and your situation and your hours and schedule are not identical to anybody else's. So only you can determine what is right for you, what feels challenging, what feels exciting, and really fill in your schedule and commit to it. Which brings me to tip number 3. And that is, I want you to commit to your job search just as if you were the CEO of your own schedule, which you totally are, right? But think about it. In the workplace, we might have a meeting scheduled and we just don't feel well, but it's not like we're going to call all of our vendors or all of our customers or all of our bosses and be like, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling well. Can we reschedule this? Right? Whenever we have something on our calendar, we just treat it as a meeting that must be attended. It's a mandatory meeting, and it's such a pain in the butt to have to reschedule and get all of the parties involved and, just continue moving that, right? So no matter how we feel, we just step up our energy and we commit. So that's my big goal for you, is that as you think about your own job search, think about yourself as the CEO of your own job search, and think about every meeting that you put in your calendar as, this is my dedicated time with the CEO. And that means no matter what, you're never rescheduling, right? If you say, hey, on Tuesday, when I get back home from work, I put it on my calendar to have dinner, and at 7:30, I'm gonna sit down with my resume for an hour. That means that that's a meeting and you can't move that, right? That means if Netflix is on, it doesn't matter. You finish what you need to do first and then you reward yourself. And again, going back to tip number 1, after you finish your resume, celebrate that. That's huge. All right, so there you have it. Those are my top 3 tips for you as you start to build up the momentum in your job search. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Which one of these was your favorite tip, or do you have any tips that you'd like to contribute to our community? If you guys are looking for job search resources, you guys want to download my top 10 job search mantras and affirmations, be sure to do so in the description box linked down below. And until then, I can't wait to see you cultivate your career.